was one of the most, like, uncomfortable, like, weird streams of all time, bro.
And if there's videos and pictures of the wells being built and shit, that's different. So where are they? This does not fucking count. This is something you see in a fucking textbook at school. What the fuck, dude?
This is all this stream was, bro. The epitome of this stream was basically just MrBeast pressuring people into donating to Team Water.
Jynxzi said it plainly on stream. The few hours was one of the most, like, uncomfortable, like, weird streams of all time, bro. That's a strong statement from someone who didn't just watch from the sidelines. Jynxzi was on that call. He was part of it, and he donated $100,000 out of his own pocket. So when a person at that level, someone who actually gave 6 figures to the cause, comes out 8 months later and says the whole thing felt wrong, that's worth paying attention to. The question isn't whether the cause was legitimate. Team Water raised $40 million for clean water access in Africa. That's real money going toward a real problem. But the way that money was raised, the tactics used, the pressure applied, and the questions that still don't have clean answers, that's where this situation gets complicated. And now, with legal threats entering the picture, what started as creator drama has turned into something far more serious. To understand how we got here, you have to go back to where it all started. August 2025. MrBeast, real name Jimmy Donaldson, launched Team Water, a charity campaign designed to raise money to build water wells and provide clean drinking water to communities across Africa. He chose Kick as the platform, making it his first ever stream there, which immediately drew attention. The setup was straightforward on paper. The stream would not end until the fundraising goal of $5 million was hit. To keep viewers entertained, the team put together a punishment board, a list of challenges that would be triggered every time a donation milestone was reached. Getting covered in snakes, being waxed on camera, oil wrestling against a physically imposing opponent. It was designed to be chaotic, engaging, and shareable, which is exactly what it became. The funding strategy worked on 2 levels. Regular viewers could donate smaller amounts, while the bigger targets were wealthy creators and public figures. Billionaire Ken Griffin alone donated $2.25 million. Adin Ross and XQC were brought in as co-hosts.
Hey! What is this?
Yeah, there's this charity thing called Team Water where every dollar donated is a year of clean water for someone in need. And, we're trying to raise money to get people clean water all around the world. It's, a big thing. People die from it. And we're just curious. Your friends here were saying you're a very generous soul.
Are you really going to do this shit? Fucking McDonald's drive-thru, man. This is going to happen to me?
You're putting people on the spot.
Nah.
Hey, they put me on the spot too, man. And now I'm
Two of the most recognizable names in live streaming. Both of them would eventually speak out about how the stream made them feel. On paper, the cause was meaningful, and the structure was entertaining. But almost immediately, the way the fundraising was being executed started making people uncomfortable. MrBeast didn't sit back and wait for the donations to come in. He actively went after them, live, in front of his audience. At one point during the stream, he pulled out a physical list of people who had previously said they would donate, but hadn't followed through yet. Names like rapper Young Thug and an NFL player identified only as TJ were on it. He then began calling these people directly, live on stream, to collect on those promises. The tactic was simple but effective, and uncomfortable at the same time. When you call someone mid-stream, in front of hundreds of thousands of live viewers, you're not really giving them a choice. You're staging a moment. Saying yes looks generous. Saying no invites instant public judgment. That dynamic played out multiple times throughout the stream. Asmongold was pulled into a call while he was already streaming live to his own audience. The moment he was connected, Jimmy immediately asked if he wanted to donate to help provide clean water. That's not a casual question when it's asked in front of 2 combined live audiences. The Logan Paul moment was even more revealing. Paul was brought into a 5-way call alongside Jynxzi and others. Logan Paul himself described the experience directly. "Are you really going to do this? The McDonald's drive-thru, man. It's going to happen to me. You're putting people on the spot." He wasn't wrong. MrBeast responded, "Hey, they put me on the spot too, man." But that response didn't really address the problem. It just passed the discomfort along. The group goaded Logan Paul into promising to match whatever amount Jynxzi donated. Paul agreed, assuming the number would be modest. Then Jynxzi revealed he'd given $100,000, and the pressure shifted immediately back onto Paul to keep his word. FaZe Rug experienced a different version of the same pressure. He offered $10,000. Rather than accepting that and moving on, the stream pushed him toward a higher number.
One of the most, uncomfortable, weird streams of all time, bro. Basically, this is all this stream was, bro, the epitome of the stream, was basically just MrBeast pressuring people into donating to Team Water, which is a great cause. But at the end of the day, let's be honest, chat. If Team Water raises, whatever, like $100 million, who gets the credit for it, bro? Who's gonna make the tweet and say, oh, this is Team Water and we raised this amount of money? Who gets all the credit for this, chat? MrBeast. Exactly. So basically, we're all donating. He's getting all the credit, but we're all getting pressured into donating in front of, hundreds of thousands of people. When you combine all the streams, you're talking 200,000 people are watching this live. And at the end of the day, I kind of thought about it and it's like, well, at the end of the day, it goes to a good cause, so I don't really care. Like, it goes to a good cause. But that's all this stream is, bro. This is one of the, this stream was just excruciating, bro. Okay.
The man.
And every time somebody would join the call, bro, it was just like...
That detail, someone offering money and then being nudged to give more while live, captures exactly the kind of dynamic that made people uneasy. XQC felt it in real time. He and Adin kept pausing during the stream, exchanging looks with each other. As XQC later put it, the reading the room of that room with me and Adin was not good either. Like, me and Adin kept pausing and looking at each other, and looking at him. I said like, yo, can we do a read the room check? And it's just like, we did not connect. That is a co-host, live on the stream, telling the host directly that something is off, and being ignored. Of everyone involved in the Team Water situation, Kai ended up absorbing the most damage, and he didn't even donate. When Kai chose not to give money to the campaign, the internet responded immediately, and without restraint. His timeline filled with criticism for weeks. People didn't just comment on his decision, they used it as a launching pad to revisit old grievances, dragging in unrelated issues to stack more weight onto the backlash. The argument that spread fastest was the hypocrisy angle. Kai runs high-earning subathons where he actively asks his audience to spend money on him. For many people, that made his refusal to donate to a charity look contradictory. The comparison stuck, and it spread. But stepping back from the noise, the logic doesn't fully hold up. Running a subscription-based business where your audience voluntarily pays for content is not the same as donating to a charity during a live stream. Kai had every right to decline, regardless of how positive the cause was. A tweet pointing that out earned over 6,000 likes, which showed that a significant portion of the audience understood what was actually happening. This wasn't about hypocrisy, it was about pressure. The backlash against Kai didn't fade, it kept building. XQC and Adin Ross spent hours during that original stream encouraging wealthy creators to donate, while also making comments about Kai specifically. Even when some of those comments were framed as jokes, they kept him in the spotlight and kept the pressure on. Kai's situation is the clearest example of what happens when someone says no in this kind of environment. The consequences were real, lasting, and disproportionate to the actual decision he made. His experience became the most visible proof that the pressure being described wasn't imagined. It was structural. April, Doa mi doazech shishase. Jynxzi, currently the second most subscribed streamer on Twitch, according to Twitch Tracker, went live reacting to a YouTube video titled "Streamers Keep Disrespecting Jynxzi." During that stream, the Team Water situation came up, and for the first time, he spoke about it openly and at length. His criticism came down to two separate but connected problems. The first was the pressure itself. Basically, this is all this stream was, bro. The epitome of this stream was basically just MrBeast pressuring people into donating to Team Water, which is a great cause, but at the end of the day, let's be honest, chat. He pointed out that when you combine all the streams running simultaneously, you had 200,000 people watching live. Being called into that environment and asked to make a financial decision, in public, in real time, is not a neutral situation. The cause being worthy doesn't change the mechanics of what's happening.
Keep it a buck. I privately texted Jynxzi, and I apologized. And I'm going to publicly apologize to Jynxzi because he's right. And anybody who thinks he isn't right, you're incorrect. When no streamers were answering the phone, I came through, XQC came through. It was a good experience for the most part. And it wasn't right. Looking back, it wasn't right. Looking back, it wasn't, it wasn't good pressuring people. It made a lot of streamers look bad. and I do apologize for that as well.
The second problem was credit. If Team Water raises, whatever, like $100 million, who gets the credit for it, bro? Who's gonna make the tweet and say, oh, this is Team Water, and we raised this amount of money? Who gets all the credit for this chat? MrBeast. Exactly. This is a structural observation, not a personal attack. When a charity is built around one person's brand and identity, the recognition flows back to that person regardless of how many others contributed. Other creators gave real money. Jynxzi gave $100,000 of it. But the narrative, the milestone announcements, the records, and the long-term public memory all belong to the face of the campaign. Jynxzi made his position on the cause itself clear. At the end of the day, it goes to a good cause, so I don't really care. Like, it goes to a good cause. But that's all this stream is, bro. This stream was just excruciating, bro. The clip spread immediately. Within hours, the Team Water conversation was back at full volume. MrBeast responded on Twitter, X directly under Jynxzi's viral clip. He did not soften his position or walk anything back. On the credit question, he argued that the stream drew hundreds of thousands of live viewers, and that clips generated millions of views across platforms, meaning the creators who participated did receive public exposure and recognition. That point has some validity in the short term. Visibility was shared. On the pressure question, he was more direct. Regardless, I don't feel bad for asking multi-millionaires publicly to help people drinking dirt water get access to clean water so they can live longer. That's a clear and confident position. But for many viewers, it missed the point entirely. The criticism from Jynxzi, XQC, and others was never that the cause was wrong or that wealthy creators shouldn't be encouraged to give.
I apologize to every streamer that or every single public figure that I pressured. And I'm sorry to them. And Jimmy, I will apologize to you if you show the proof of the water. It's been almost a year, and I've said this. You don't even have to do it to me. Do it for the people that are saying it's fake, where the water. Please. I've spoken to many people. That's it. That's it. You could shut everybody the fuck up by doing that. I'm sorry to the people that got pressured. I'm sorry about that. Everybody. I was in the wrong. Looking back, I was in the wrong, and I'm taking accountability fully. I'm not fully. No. I'm apologizing to people that I pressured from my network to donate, because that's not right. That's the truth.
The criticism was about the method, calling people live in front of massive audiences, returning to the same people multiple times, turning personal financial decisions into public performances. MrBeast's response addressed neither the recalling tactic nor the structural pressure of the live format. One reply that gained serious traction online framed it directly. The setup made it nearly impossible to say no without facing backlash, and whoever organized the event was positioned to receive most of the long-term credit, regardless of who contributed. That reply resonated because it described exactly what the audience had watched happen in real time. Alongside the pressure debate, a second and more serious question began circulating. Where is the evidence that the wells were actually built? Adin Ross raised it plainly on stream. Where are the water wells Jimmy said he was going to build? The question stuck because nobody had a clean, immediate answer to point people toward. To be accurate about what does exist, Beast Philanthropy has published documentation showing that over 100 wells were constructed across Cameroon, Kenya, Somalia, Uganda, and Zimbabwe, serving more than 250,000 people with clean water. That information was updated on their website as of August 2025. The work, based on what has been published, appears to be real, but the way the numbers are presented on the Team Water side creates confusion. The website states that roughly $40 million was raised and frames the impact as 40 million years of water supply. That phrase is designed to sound significant, and numerically it is, but it doesn't translate into anything concrete for someone trying to verify the work. There's no simple per-well cost, no list of locations with maps or photos, no breakdown that lets an ordinary person confirm what their money did. What people actually want is straightforward. Show how much money builds one well, show how many people that well serves, and show where those wells are.
As much as I want to agree with Jynxzi as best as I can, right? I agree with what he says, right? But the way out of it is like a really simple solution. Like if you get called up, I think you could just say, like a lot of people did, yo, I just donate privately and shit like that. Oh, that's a cool cause. Good job, guys. I really like the stream. I keep it up, and I usually keep my donations private so that it's just the way it operates. And then people and nobody really blinked an eye about people.
That level of transparency is not an unreasonable ask for a $40 million campaign. The fact that it requires digging to find creates space for doubt, even when the underlying work may be legitimate. This is where the broader context of charity skepticism becomes relevant. Stories of nonprofit executives taking large salaries, labeling personal travel as operational costs, or allowing donor money to erode through poor management, those narratives are embedded in public memory. When a high-profile campaign doesn't make its impact immediately clear, people apply those existing patterns to it. That's what's happening here, and better transparency would have cut this line of criticism off entirely. Adin Ross was not a neutral observer in the original Team Water stream. He was a co-host. He was present throughout, participating in the calls, encouraging donations, and applying his own platform's reach to the campaign. He was part of the machine. 8 months later, he came out fully on Jynxzi's side. I privately texted Jynxzi and I apologize, and I'm going to publicly apologize to Jynxzi because he's right. Anybody who thinks he isn't right, you're incorrect. He then went further and apologized to every creator he had pressured during the original stream. I apologize to every streamer or every single public figure that I pressured, and I'm sorry to them. Then came the conditional element. And Jimmy, I will apologize to you if you show the proof of the water. It's been almost a year, and I've said this. You don't even have to do it to me. Do it for the people that are saying it's fake. Where's the water, please? You could shut everybody up by doing that. That framing and apology held in reserve pending proof was deliberate. It wasn't a full retreat or a face-saving move. It was a direct challenge delivered in public. The response from MrBeast's side was not a clarification or a press release. According to Adin, Jimmy texted him privately, threatening legal action for defamation. That detail immediately escalated the situation past the level of typical creator conflict. The moment a lawsuit is mentioned, everything changes. Audiences who might have scrolled past the drama start paying attention. Journalists start covering it. The stakes become real. What makes the legal threat notable is the specificity of what Adin actually said. He asked where the proof was. He suggested that MrBeast may have kept the money. The first statement is a question. The second is an accusation. Only one of those clearly enters defamation territory, and that distinction matters if this ever moves past informal threats. XQC occupies a different position in this situation than almost anyone else. He wasn't watching clips after the fact. He was physically present, co-hosting the stream, watching events unfold in real time from inside the room. He acknowledged that Jynxzi technically had options saying no or choosing to donate privately without making it a public moment. But he also acknowledged why those options were harder than they sound. Kai said no. The consequences were immediate, prolonged, and public. That example makes the idea of simply declining feel far less simple than it appears from the outside. XQC's more substantive criticism focused on the method itself. I'm going to be honest with you, I thought that the methods were a little bit too much. Not just a little bit, it was way too much. I said it, at the time, when it was still live that I was uncomfortable with it. After, I said it a couple of times. I think the method was just not okay. Just the fact that recalling and rebringing up somebody, and then going back to the same people, I think it was too much, and I think the reading of the room was not happening. That statement is significant. This isn't someone who watched a clip and formed an opinion. This is someone who was there, who raised the concern during the stream itself, who said it privately to MrBeast as well, and who is now saying it publicly. He tried to flag the problem in real time, and it didn't change anything. The stream extension detail adds another layer. Rather than running its natural course, the broadcast kept getting prolonged, specifically to chase more donation milestones. That decision turned an already pressurized environment into something that felt deliberately stretched and manufactured. Pull back from the specific names and events, and a broader structural issue comes into focus. Livestream charity has an inherent tension built into it. The format that makes it entertaining live reactions, real-time milestones, public calls, audience participation, is the same format that makes genuine voluntary giving difficult. When millions of people are watching and every reaction is immediately recorded and clipped, there is no such thing as a truly private decision. The public and the personal collapse into each other. The credit problem is similarly structural, not personal. When a charity campaign is organized around one creator's brand and infrastructure, and that creator is the face of every announcement and milestone, the recognition flows back to them over time, regardless of who else contributed. Other creators may get short-term visibility through clips and coverage, but the long-term narrative belongs to whoever built the campaign. Jynxzi identified this accurately, and it applies well beyond this specific situation. MrBeast's documented charitable work is real. Beast Philanthropy has built wells, funded meals, and run operations that have demonstrably helped people. That record matters and deserves acknowledgement. But the scale of his platform, the marketing of products to younger audiences, and the visible entanglement of philanthropy with content creation have created a context in which every charitable act gets scrutinized for intent. That scrutiny is partly a function of the audience paying attention, and partly a function of how the content is packaged and presented. The internet split into three clear camps: after Jynxzi's comments went viral. One camp argued the pressure was real, documented by multiple people who were present, and that the method was wrong regardless of the cause. A second camp argued that multimillionaires complaining about being asked to help people access clean water were missing the point entirely. A third camp took the position that personal financial decisions belong to the individual, and no one should be publicly pressured into making them, regardless of their wealth or the cause. All three positions have internal logic. None of them are easily dismissed. What this situation ultimately comes down to is a gap between outcome and method. The outcome, $40 million raised, 100 plus wells built, 250,000 plus people with access to clean water is meaningful. The method, public pressure, recalling reluctant donors, live audiences judging every response, and a credit structure that benefits one person above all others left multiple participants feeling like the process itself was wrong. Jynxzi gave $100,000. XQC was uncomfortable enough to say so on the stream itself. Adin Ross apologized publicly to every creator he pressured. Kai was dragged through weeks of backlash for exercising a personal choice. And the transparency around where the money went remains unclear enough that the questions haven't stopped. The cause being good does not automatically make the method acceptable. And the fact that multiple people who were directly involved have now said, independently, that something felt wrong, that's not noise. That's a pattern.